Hello, YouTubers, listeners, and future subscribers. This is Charade, and this is an installment of Charade Rants. Number 1. Toonami's back, bitches. As the title of this proclaims, these are going to be Charade Rants, where I basically talk about what I've seen, experienced, and the like that would seem very interesting to other people. And as stated before, this is a rant about Toonami, which, at this current time of this recording, it is still going on right now. Pardon me. And what can I think about it? What do I think about it? I like it. I really do. Even though I technically only watched an hour of it, and I'll get into that in a second, of why. But before I think it's right for me to actually talk about what they're doing with Toonami now, I think what we need is like a history lesson of way back when, right when it very started. To me, I can't really pinpoint the exact location, exact time when Toonami first started, though I do remember way back in elementary school, I think around 5th grade, I came home one day and there was this weird block of programming that I've never seen before. These are shows I've never seen before, and in this thing called Toonami, and it's like, what is this? This is actually really interesting. And this is way back when, in the very beginning of Toonami, when you had shows like Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Ronin Warriors, and Sailor Moon, and I watched every show whenever Toonami was on, even Sailor Moon, which technically, depending on how you look at it, was either good or not, but that's neither here nor there. And Toonami would always be on. Every day I would come home, basically, around 2 o'clock is when Toonami would start, in the very beginning. And it was basically a 2-hour block of these shows. Just be 2 hours, nothing but anime. Back with Tom 1, very first Tom. And, I mean, I don't know why the block was so small, compared with, technically the Toonami of right now. It's like, well, it's basically the Adult Swim. Well, yeah, we can talk about it a little bit right now. The Toonami that aired, basically, is airing still, right now of this recording, is basically the Adult Swim Saturday anime block, where it is the anime that is playing during Adult Swim's time on Saturdays, from 11 to I don't really remember, but it's really like early. I think 5. Yeah, it stops at 5. Just check right now. It stops at 5. And well, if you've seen it, if you're watching this, you probably have seen it. You saw it and you want to hear what people think about it, and you just came to my video to see what I think about it. You saw that it's still Tom. It's Tom 3, I think? Version 3. And this is why I only watched an hour. I only watched the 2 new shows that were on, which was Dead Man Wonderland. Pardon me. Which, and Casshern Sins, which, I can say this about both of them, they're kind of depressing. Like, there is, it's that kind of, to me, I don't know about you guys, but to me, they both seem kind of depressing. And it's just kind of depressing where it's interesting to watch, because the only other show on Cartoon Network, on Toonami, late night Toonami, or, yeah, or actually, the last anime that made me feel like it was depressing was Code Geass or Death Note, one of those two, where I felt like, wow, this is has that level of depressing that makes me keep want to watching, but there's also these other things in it that balance it out. But so yeah, those are the only two things I watched. And what do I really think about it? Well, it's not the Toonami of yesteryear. It's not because, like I said, the very beginning it was just the anime block, and then later on, which I think was like Tom 2.0 or 3, that when they included also Western cartoons. Pardon me, I'm taking drinks. That's why I'm pausing. It would have Eastern and Western, but then you would have the I think version 4 Tom, which is that weird human face Tom, or Toonami Planet Tom, basically. And that's when I think the quality of the shows sort of matched with how the show was actually, how Toonami was actually going, because you had Naruto, and we had like Naruto and One Piece that were still going on, but these were oh god, these were the Fox box, or basically Fox programming one production One Piece, and well, I forgot the other show. Anyway, you know what I mean. If you're listening to this, you know what I mean. They were those versions where, it's not exactly the same as the manga. And I remember seeing those versions on Fox and on Toonami. Pardon me one more time. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, at first. But then I started seeing, the actual versions, the Japanese versions of it, and I was like, wow, this show is a lot different than what I've seen. And it's like, okay, this is better. This original version is better than what they did. But, pardon me one last time. And when I started seeing those shows, that you kind of really saw that Toonami was starting to go under. And it was like, I was there. I don't remember the exact day, but I remember that day when Toonami officially signed off. When Tom basically said sayonara to Cartoon Network and Toonami, and it was like, that was really sad. I can really say that was one televised low point that I've seen. It's like, I love this block. I watched this block from since I was in the 5th grade to when it ended. I don't remember when it ended. I don't remember the exact year. But it was a sad moment. And, it was loved enough that people basically said, we want this back, bring this back. And they did. Now I think at the end of this video, I can talk about the actual new Toonami. And it's okay. It's okay. I only say okay and not great because, yes, it's not like the Toonami of yesteryear. It doesn't have a mixture of East and West, at least not yet. But it's just the first. This is just the first airing, basically. If you're not including the April Fools that I missed, because if you remember, Adult Swim April Fools always shows The Room, and once is enough for me. And I missed it because of that. And it wasn't until, name drop here, I saw Mars Girl's video about the Toonami on thatguywiththeglasses.com that I went, oh my god, why did I miss this? I would have loved this. You're airing old shows that I watched. And, Adult Swim on Saturdays, it does show these old shows. It does show Big O. It does show Cowboy Bebop. These were shows that were on Toonami, but then they moved over to Adult Swim. And that's why I think this newer Toonami is not, like right now, is not as good as the old ones. Because it's just two new shows, right? One after the other. But in between that is what Adult Swim always shows on Saturdays. You know, it's Bleach, then the newer stuff, and then Full Metal Alchemist. You know, like, I mean, that's okay if you like those series. But, you know, it's Toonami. Like, to me, it's Toonami. I want to see newer stuff also with older stuff. You know, something like that. I think that's all I can say about this right now. Yeah. So, yeah, this was Charade Rants. If you got a comment or a question, if you got a comment about what I've talked about or what I've said, or if you got an idea for a rant, place it in the comments below. I check every comment in my videos, or I will now since this is the first rant. But I'll check every comment if you got ideas, positive ideas. You know, like, what do you want? Like, do you want talk about cartoons, talk about video games, talk about bronies? You know, talk about whatever. Basically, like that. If it's interesting, I'll consider it. You know, but until then, this has been Charade with Charade Rants, and I'll see you guys next time.